Hi there. So this video I'm going to talk about shame. It's an awful thing. I'd say it's the symptom that has plagued me all of my life without me knowing it. Which is a bit bizarre, you might think. How do you not know you're ashamed? Well, I'll explain. I grew up in a home where emotions were ignored. They weren't tolerated. You was upset, tough shit, you're on your own dealing with it. No one's going to pay no attention to you. You're going to be ignored. You get a message of nobody cares, because it doesn't matter how you feel. No one's going to pay no attention to you. They're not going to listen. My mum's whole philosophy in life was ignore it and it will go away, and then she died. That sums it all up. 61 years of her life. Ignore it and it will go away. Ignore your children, ignore your partners, ignore everyone and everything. So that's what she did. When you're a child of somebody like that, that's quite difficult to live with, because you get ignored. Your needs get ignored. Everything gets ignored. I didn't misbehave to get attention because I knew I weren't going to get none. Because my brother misbehaved to get attention and he didn't get none. So why would I do the same thing and know that I'm not going to get none? I weren't a naughty child anyway, and I didn't want to be naughty to get attention. I just knew I weren't going to get none. He didn't work that out. He was always trying to get some attention from her, but he didn't get none. Maybe that's why he was so nasty to me, to get attention off of her. But it never worked. Well, I don't know, maybe he must have got some attention when she was having to go at him. But anyway, the point was that my emotional needs were never met because I was ignored. And I am a very, very emotional person. So when you live in a home with somebody who is not emotional, who doesn't tolerate emotion, who ignores it, that's really difficult to be sad or upset or have any problem or any issue that you need help with, you need to talk to someone about. I couldn't turn to her for support or comfort or advice or anything, because she just was emotionally unavailable to me. She was there, she was always there, she never went anywhere, she didn't move out of her seat apart from to put the kettle on and go to the toilet and to go to the shop to get some cigarettes. that was just her life. That's all she did, really. And that was it. That's all she did. And I would sit there and I just think, why don't you talk? Why don't you say anything? She was so uncomfortable with everything. Everything was taboo. Sex was taboo. Periods and puberty was taboo. Love, anything really. It was just, that had no place in my home. It wasn't acknowledged as a part of life. It was that existed only on TV, and in the real world that doesn't happen. It was just weird. She would watch TV and someone was being dramatic. She'd go, oh, I feel embarrassed watching her. She'd make me feel embarrassed. And I used to think, how can you be embarrassed about someone else? That's weird. Yeah, she was just really uncomfortable with displays of emotion. And being like a very emotional person, Even as an adult I am, so as a child I was even more so. She didn't tolerate that. She'd just ignore me. I don't know, she thought I was being like that to get attention from her. I clearly needed it, but didn't get none. And I learned really young that I was on my own dealing with my problems. I would go up to my bedroom and cry and get it out of my system. And then I'd wait until I didn't look like I'd been crying, and I'd go downstairs and she'd say, "What you been doing up there?" And I'd say, "Reading a book." And she'd always say to her friends, "Oh, she's a proper little bookworm, always got her head in the book reading." And I just think, no, I weren't doing that though, was I? I was sitting up there crying. She never knew. To this day, I mean, she'd never known. Because I couldn't go to her. I couldn't go to anyone. And so I was completely alone with my feelings. And I would just go off on my own and deal with them, and then pretend it never happened until the next time I was upset, and then I'd do the same thing and pretend it never happened. I always felt ashamed of my emotions, like they're a bad thing and I shouldn't have them, and I must stop being so emotional because it's bad. I've gone through my life believing that, thinking that I need to stop being so emotional because it's not a good thing. Even I'm 39, I'm 40 next month, and I still, very recently I've stopped thinking that way, but until very recently I used to think, I can control my emotions, I need to control them, I need to get control of them and stop myself from getting upset and stop myself from crying because it's bad. I need to grow up, I need to get control of my emotions like an adult and stop being so emotional. And I always thought that's a goal I can work towards achieving, is to get in control of my emotions, to stop being so emotional because it's bad. And probably most people I know, if they watch this video, they'd think, wow, we didn't know she was like that, because I hid it. I've always hidden my emotions as if they never existed. A lot of people think I'm really cool and, you know, nothing bothers me and chilled out and that, and I think, wow, really? You don't know me at all. I'm really highly strung. I get really upset about things. I get really moody, really emotional, or angry, or I snap. I get pissed off and I rant. And a lot of people have no idea about that. They don't see it. I've hidden it because I was ashamed. So I hid my emotions all my life. My daughter knows because she's been with me through it all, so she knows the real me. She sees it and it's like, oh, that's just mum. She don't think no different of it. She's the only person in my life who I can be myself with, who I can just be myself, and I can cry or I can get angry or be pissed off or have a rant, and she's just there, you know, listening, whatever. Just thinking, oh, that's mum, she's off again. She sees it, she's always seen it, but no one else. I've hidden it, I've always hidden it, because I thought people won't tolerate it, they won't like me, they'll leave, they'll get pissed off, they don't want to hear it. I always felt like, oh, it's just this bad thing that's happened, I'll get over it and I'll be alright. I won't be so emotional after that. I'll be stronger, so next time when this bad thing happens, I'll handle it better. Like if I had a boyfriend and I'm always pissed off, I'm going to think, oh, he's going to get fed up with this and leave me. He's not going to put up with my shit. He's going to be, oh God, she's fucking miserable. She's moody, always moaning all the time, always pissed off, always crying. There's always a drama, always a problem. She's always upset like a little child. Sick of it. So he'd leave me because he'd be sick of it and think, oh, she's fucking pain in the arse, can't deal with this shit. And he'd leave me because he couldn't deal with it. So it's like, oh, I need to hide that. I can't let him see that side of me because he'll leave me, because it's awful. It's a bad thing. It's like there's something really seriously bad about being emotional, because people aren't going to tolerate it and stick around. They're going to disappear and find a happy person that's not so emotional. That's what I've always thought my whole life. People leave me because I'm so emotional, or I must be really difficult to be around, which is weird because, as I've just said, I don't show it. So how would they see that and be pissed off about that and then leave? I don't show it that much. And then when I do start to get close to someone and I start to like confide in them, and when I'm in the mood I start to tell them, oh, this has happened or this has gone wrong, and then I start thinking, I've said too much. And then when all those little things that do upset me happen, I don't want to talk about it for a while. I think, no, I've had a moan too many times recently. He's going to start thinking I'm a pain in the arse, that I'm always in the mood, I'm always dramatic and always pissed off, and he's going to think, oh, she's too much hard work, can't deal with this. So I sort of like rein it in a bit and keep it to myself and think, I'm not going to say anything for a while. I'll just deal with it by myself. I won't confide in him and turn to him because that'll put him off. So I've always really deep down inside believed that my emotions were a bad thing. And so that's one aspect of the shame symptom of complex PTSD, how that affects me. It's like hiding your true nature because you think you're flawed and there's something fundamentally wrong with you. And if people see that, they're going to hate you and leave you and reject you, not want to be around you, which I don't want. So if I hide it and I don't let people see that, they might stay, which is silly really, because then you're just not being yourself. You can't be yourself. So it'd just be like my childhood all over again, repressing my emotions and my real self to keep someone in my life, because I think they're going to leave me if they see the real me. An example of why I would believe that is because my dad always left. He didn't live with us because he's a freak, and that's been nice. He would be gone, see you next week, kids, he'd say. He used to come around on a Saturday night, then you wouldn't see him for weeks, and he wouldn't turn up, and you'd be looking at the clock, 7 o'clock on a Saturday evening, looking out the window. Every time you heard a car come down the road, we'd be looking, thinking it's his car, and it weren't. We'd be sitting there waiting. It would get dark, it would get late, we'd go to bed. Mum would lie the next day saying, yeah, he came round, but there was traffic, and he was asleep, and he was there. Now as he got older, my brother started to notice he hadn't been there, because my dad had his own mug and ashtray, but it hadn't been moved, it was still on the kitchen windowsill. So he was like, you could tell he hadn't been there, and he started telling me, and I started to think, oh. But we never said nothing to my mum, so for years she kept lying, saying he'd been there when he hadn't. So inside I'm thinking, where's my dad? Why hasn't he been back? Why hasn't he been to see me? As a child, this is what children do. They blame themselves. They think they've done something wrong. It's their fault. So I already felt that, thinking I've done something wrong. He's not come back because of me. My beautiful, lovely brother would come along and say to me, you do know it's your fault that Dad's not come back, because he hates you. It's you, it's your fault. It's all your fault. Look at you. Who'd love you? Who'd want you? Look at you. He used to talk to me like I was a piece of shit. Obviously, I already felt that was my fault. Now he's telling me it's my fault. So, in my already screwed up little head, I'm thinking, oh, it must be true then. So I blamed myself, and I used to think it's me, it's my fault, because I'm a bad person. my brother drummed it in my head from such a young age, I don't even remember when it began, that there was something wrong with me. And he always said, something wrong with you. No one ever said what was wrong with me exactly, just that there was something wrong with me. And he said this every single day. There's something wrong with you. And he went on and on and on. I believed there was something wrong with me. I didn't know what it was. And I was always trying to figure it out. What's wrong with me? Why am I like this? Because I've been told it for so long, I ended up believing it. And the fact that I believed I was bad, and that's why my dad didn't come back. And then he would come back. And in my child's little head, I'd think, I knew he'd come back, I knew he loved me.